Hi everyone, Rob here with Velocity Portfolio, back with another weekly update. This is going to be the 39th week that I've been fully living out of my brokerage account going back to October 2025. What that means is all of mine and my wife's income goes into this traditional brokerage account, which is housed at Robinhood. It's invested into the categories that you see here at these percentages. And then as bills come up throughout the month, I use margin and I borrow against the assets to pay my bills, my credit card bills, my mortgage, everything is all borrowed against these assets. And then throughout the month, any dividends that are received and any options income premium that I generate goes to pay down that margin balance. And I sell puts and calls at about 10% of the gross account value at any given time. I also have the Velocity Impact Fund where anything that I earn from YouTube, anything at all affiliated or from YouTube itself, goes into the Velocity Impact Fund. So it buys this fund, which grows my account and helps me out. And then the dividends that are received from this fund go to charities. I'll cover on this a little bit more. I'm also going to cover my bills in this one and then some of the expenses. There's been quite a few changes to the account and this channel in the last couple of weeks. I moved from Schwab to Robinhood recently. I've also been using some new tools. So I'm in the process of still getting everything all synced together, and I think I'm just about there. So I'm going to show some of it today. Going into the account here, you'll notice this is a new tool that I'm using. A lot of people are familiar with Paycheck to Portfolio. This is a web application that he has developed, and I am now using it and have an affiliate link for it. I do really like the platform. He is building it more so to cater to people that are living out of their brokerage account. Snowball Analytics is great, but this is constantly being built out and things being added to really cater to the people that are living out of the brokerage account. So when you get into this, you kind of learn there's some things that other platforms don't offer, and he's trying to solve some of those, which is great. So, but I like here on the dashboard that it shows everything. So you can see my gross portfolio value is 247, 233. You can see my net is 145, 638. My margin balance sits at 101, 594, and my equity percentage sits at 58.9. I currently have 28 positions. I did, if you were in the Discord, I did sell out of quite a few positions this week that I'll cover, and then purchased some new ones and added to others. I'll cover that here in a second. But right now I'm currently sitting at 28 positions, and that might come down a little bit more too. You'll notice my total gain is down quite a bit as well as my return. That's because I'm sitting on a couple of options assignments that I'm in the process of wheeling out of, and I'm down pretty substantially on them, which is fine. But that's why those numbers are like that. Also, in this platform, I just started using it like the first week of June. So the numbers, except for this screen, are not going to be totally accurate because I can't go back and import everything previously. But when I show Snowball Analytics here in a second, it will show that. So if we go over to transactions, it's got positions in here as well, but I'll show those in Snowball. And then what I like here is transactions. So I can go to, let's go to June, the beginning of the month, to now. And if we start from the bottom here, actually I just wanted to do the week. So if I go for just this week, which was Monday the 22nd through today, let's look at what all the activity that I had just this week alone, quite a bit, as I mentioned. So you can see I had a withdrawal of $25.99. This was to pay a credit card bill with some one subscription on it. And then I sold an option on the 22nd for $42, 7 contracts against BITX. It was a call. And then here I deposited $200.84. This was remaining money that was sitting in my account from the transfer from Schwab over to Robinhood. It was kind of like some leftover funds, so I transferred it over. You can see with that I bought GP. Oh, I'm sorry, that was not what this was. This was a payout from Google for YouTube for the last 2 months. So you can see I immediately invested that into GPIQ, which is the Velocity Impact Fund. And then I withdrew $432. That was to pay something or another contribution. You can see here $60. This was cash back from the Robinhood Gold Card, which you can see immediately went into GPIQ. And the Velocity Impact Fund got a dividend from SPYG. Another contribution, credit card rewards from Robinhood Gold Card, $25, again into GPIQ. SPYI, I purchased $915.11. And then I sold a call on my Netflix position here. So $13, $4 or 4-cent fee. And then this is where all the moves took place. I decided to sell out of a lot of individual tickers in the dividend growth category and just go with ETFs. And I'm kind of going that way with the portfolio in general. I'm getting out of a lot of the individual tickers and just going ETFs. I've been doing a lot of things lately to try and automate as much as possible. And that's why I'm using like this tool and Snowball and options income and all of these things that will automatically import where it doesn't take me any manual entry. The reason why is I anticipate getting more and more busy, and there's actually a couple of potential business opportunities that I'm working on with some people that is going to take up quite a bit more of my time. And I anticipate having less time over the next few years. So I want a lot of this stuff to be automated. And if that means I've got to pay for it, I'm okay with that. It's something I'm willing to do in order to free up some of my time instead of having to manually enter everything. So I'm getting all these tools implemented. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now. And so far, so good. I haven't really had to do any kind of manual entry, just some minor tweaks here and there when things come up. So with that said, getting out of some of the individual tickers as well so that I don't have to worry about them as much, and just going into ETFs, which I think are obviously inherently more diversified than individual tickers, so I don't have to watch individual stocks as much. So sold out of Costco, Pepsi, PG, Starbucks, and I did sell out of SoFi, which is in my growth category, but just another one of those individual tickers. So right now, the only individual tickers I have left are some of the big tech names like Meta, Apple, Google, those types, because I don't really feel like I need to worry about those as much because they're kind of inherently diversified because they're so large and they're into so many things. And I do like the idea of buying low of any of those big tech names. So I will continue to hold those for now. So I sold out of these, and then you can see with those proceeds, I purchased VYM, which is a brand new holding here, purchased VIG, which is a brand new holding, SPMO, which is a brand new holding, and then I added to XPay, which I had just recently added, I think it was last week. So newish holding. I was holding it before with Schwab and then found out that the margin maintenance on this position was like, I think it was 60 or 80%. I don't remember exactly. I think it's come down since then, but it was a lot. So I sold out of it. One of the reasons why I moved over to Robinhood as well, because it's only 25% margin maintenance. So now every position I have is 25% margin maintenance. So added to this position after adding it back into this portfolio after coming over to Robinhood, added to GPIX, MLPI, IYRI, and again, a little bit more into XPay. Then you can see here another contribution from Robinhood Gold Card, and then just from Paycheck, or actually I don't think this was a Paycheck, no. So this was actually a reimbursement. These purchases here was a reimbursement. We booked more travel this month, and I'm taking a big family trip in September, and we're all staying in one cabin, so we all went in on the purchase of it, but I put it on the entire thing on my credit card. So this was the reimbursements from some of my family members. So I took that money from the reimbursement, obviously deposited into this account because I treated it as income, and purchased these holdings. So added to DGRO, SCHD, VYM, and VIG, which obviously these two were newer holdings. So already adding to those. And then you can see another $9 contribution from a Gold Card into GPIQ. And then another $7.50 from the Robinhood Gold Card into GPIQ, the Velocity Impact Fund. And then this was a paycheck that we received yesterday. So with all the addition to the high yield funds and actually increasing my percentage of high yield to 60% from 50, I had purchased a lot of high yield. So it was time to add a little bit more into other categories. So I bought Meta, VIG, and QDTE, so split between three different categories: the dividend growth, and high yield. So one from each, and the ones that I was lowest allocated on. So QDTE, VIG, and Meta. And then you can see my calls that I had sold at the beginning of the week expired worthless. I did not open new positions yet. I will open new positions on Monday. So that was all the moves from this week. It won't normally be this busy, but there was a lot of movement getting in and out of new positions and reallocating and things like that. So you can see Robinhood here, my net account balance 146,051. You can see they do margin a little bit differently here. So you can see my 55.6 above my maintenance, So it says low risk, but you can see the margin usage is the same and everything like that. Going back to the equity percentage, this is what I'm really looking at, 58.9. I don't really want this to ever get below 50%. And we're still sitting a little ways above it right now, which is good. Going over to Snowball. So like I said, all those moves that I made, this is now where we sit with our positions and our categories. So in the dividend growth category, we just have 4 holdings. We have DGRO, SCHD, VYM, and VIG. So all ETFs. No more single tickers in there. High yield, all ETFs as well. You can see XTTE, SPYI, TDAQ, QQQI, RDTE, QDTE, GPIX, TSPY, MLPI, JEPI, IYRI, IDVO, XPay, and BTCI is only in here. I'm sorry, not BTCI. BTCI is in here, but it is a high yield fund. So I like to be diversified in the high yield category. That's why you see 14 compared to 4 or 7. I just want to be more diversified. Funds change the strategies a lot. They might change how they sell their options or what kind of options they're trading, things like that. So I like to be diversified in the high yield category itself. The Velocity Impact Fund, so that's GPIQ, as I've mentioned. We're up almost to $1,000 invested into it. And this is a combination of everything that I've paid out since starting this channel from YouTube, from people watching, subscribing, liking, and then any affiliate links of mine that you guys have used have all gone into this. And then also every dollar I get from cashback rewards from Robinhood Gold Card goes into this fund and the Velocity Impact Fund as well. And then in growth, this is where I have still all of my single tickers. I still have Google. I do have SPYG as an ETF. I have Amazon, Nvidia. I added SPMO. And then I have Meta and Microsoft. So just a lot of the big tech names. And then last but not least, my options positions that I'm just getting killed on right now. I'm down almost 10 grand on them, which is fine. This is not net, this is gross. So I'm tracking the net stock cost of these. It's not actually as bad as it seems on here, but still, I want to get out of these positions eventually. So I'm just working on wheeling out of them. But you can see that makes up about 6% of the account. And it's Netflix and 700 shares of BITX. So I'll get out of these soon enough, hopefully. And since I'm on that, not much has changed since last week, but you can see the expired worthless call here that I sold at the beginning of the week. My net stock cost on this is $19.99. This is BITX. And then on Netflix, same thing, expired worthless here. I'll open new positions on Monday. My net stock cost right now is sitting right at $90, and I was assigned at $91. So I've been able to drop $1 off the net stock cost there. Going back over to the dashboard here, we can also look at cash flow. So you can see here total income. If you hover over this, it shows stock sales. You can see a lot of stuff moving. Stock sales, dividends, $891 this week, and then options sold was $153. The expenses that came out of the account, margin interest was $102.08, withdrawal is $457.99, and option commission 64 cents. That was, fees and whatnot. My margin cost for the month. My contributions, so this is money that I've put in. You can see my cash withdrawals, so this is true expenses. And then capital deployed. This is pretty high, obviously, because there was a lot of stock sales. So this is just stock purchases was this whole entire thing. So selling out of positions and then buying new positions shows it as capital deployed, and then the net operating. So this is not totally updated. As I said, I just started at the beginning of the month. I think once I get through July, I'll have a full month picture to really show, but just kind of wanted to show some of the numbers right now. This also has a month close category in it, so you can see my assets. This is the gross account value, 247, 233. My liabilities gives you your net equity and your equity percentage. And then eventually when I have a full month under my belt, you'll see the opening, you'll see contribution, the net operating, the realized profit and loss, market and other, and then closing. So this will be a true graph, and I'll have an equity trend line here that will start to show as well. So, and then last but not least, the ledger, you can look at total inflows, total expenses, capital deployed, net cash movement. I won't spend a lot of time on it right now because it's just the numbers just aren't accurate because I just started using it. So when I get through this month and into July and start getting a full month under my belt, these numbers will look a little bit more real. Going back over to Snowball, so we went through the positions. You can see dividends received so far for the month. I've been paid $9.96, declared $399.98, and then another estimated of $38.71 for a total of $1,434. Since I've moved over to Robinhood, the dividends do come in later. With Schwab, they would usually come in the morning. They come in the evenings with Robinhood, which is fine. But you can see Snowball hasn't quite updated that they've come in, but I did receive these last night. So 69.34, 66.28, and 132.27. So 267.90 that I received yesterday alone. And then I did not receive this. I actually received this meta dividend. Actually, I received this meta dividend, I think, in Schwab because it was in the process of switching over. So it's not showing here, but I'll mark it as paid. And I did receive SPYG. So a little under $300 for this week. And then show the diversification. So updated, obviously, my biggest holdings were like Pepsi and Starbucks for the longest time. Sold out of those. And now my largest position is XDTE. Has been for a while, but it is coming down. So as I've mentioned, I don't like any one holding being more than 5%. So now I just have two, 7.76 here and 5.27 here. But you can see all of the positions here, all of the allocations updated. And then the allocations here, you can see dividend growth goal is 20%, high yield is 60, and growth is 20. So we're sitting 17 on dividend growth, 58, and 18. Now keep in mind, 6% is in options right now. When I'm able to get out of these positions, I will reallocate these funds into these categories. So take on average 2% and add these to all of this. We're right about where we want to be as far as allocation. And because of that, my income percentage has gone up back into the range that I'm looking for. I want to hover in that 10 to 12 range. I'm at 12.45 because I was reallocating into high yield, but that's going to come down a little bit. $30,000 annually is what it's estimating, which is great. And then my goal, still looking at 5 years from now, roughly, to reach the $144,000 a year in dividends that I'm looking for. So again, still, and that's why I do this. Traditional retirement says 30 to 40 years. This plan is 5 to 7, typically. Worst case, I'd say 10. So I'm okay with it taking a little bit longer. I know there's a lot of people that shoot for a higher income percentage, and that's fine. I just don't want to do that. I also have the benefit of being a high income earner. I earn a lot. My wife earns a lot, and we put it into this account, and it grows the account very fast. A lot of it is your income, and a lot of it is relative because I live in a very high cost of living area. And with that, I'll show just some of my bills here and just how expensive it is. And some of it is self-inflicted, subscriptions and things like that. I could cut spending, but I just choose not to. I'd rather just try to out-earn. I'm at that point in my life where I'd rather do that. So you can see I pay a coach who writes a program for me for strength training. I pay them $100 a month. My trash bill here is paid every other month, so this is an average of like 40 or 45 bucks a month. You can see my mortgage is very high. This is mortgage, taxes, and my home insurance all wrapped up into one. So it's $53.08.19 a month. This is some personal spending I sent to my wife so she can just, blow it on whatever she wants. And then my gas bill, I do live in San Diego. I have solar on my house, so that's why this seems a little bit low. But I do have to pay a solar bill as well, which you'll see here in a second. Macro Factor is an app I use to track all of my eating. I've been tracking my food for 10 plus years. And this is just an app that I use that gives me everything I need and I like. So I'm willing to pay the $12 a month for it. A couple of Patreon and membership services that I pay for from other YouTubers here. So this is one here. And then obviously Snowball, I pay $7.99 a month for. This is the gold subscription for Robinhood that you have to pay annually. So this is $50 a year that came out this month because I just moved over to Robinhood. The St. Jude donation that I've been making every month, $19 from the Velocity Impact Fund. This is iCloud, so this is storage. Car insurance, you can see, is $262.99. We have 2 paid off vehicles, but we still carry full coverage insurance on them. So this is how much it costs. And this is on the lower end. I've shopped this every single year, and Geico still is the cheapest that I can find out here in this area. T-Mobile, our phone bill. This is 2 phones, and then my wife is making a payment on a new phone. Spotify, so this is her Spotify. Discord I pay for. I'm in a lot of different Discord channels, so I like to have different profiles for different things. So I'm paying $9.99 a month for that. Mana box, I play Magic the Gathering. I'm a bit of a nerd, and this is a amazing app that I use for that. So this is an annual fee, which is dirt cheap in my opinion, $22.99 that I pay for. It came out this month. Another YouTube, Discord subscription service that I pay for. My water bill every month is very expensive. I live in kind of a rural area of San Diego, so water is very expensive out here. As I mentioned, Sunrun, this is who my solar panels are through, so we had to pay for that. And then my wife's car wash membership. We do pay a gardener to take care of the property. This is more than it usually is. I paid him a little extra to do some other things around the property, like I have a bunch of ficus trees in my house, so I had him tie them up. We planted them as they were babies, and as they're growing, they're starting to lean and tilt. So I paid him to we have 30 of them, so I paid him to kind of reposition them, so to speak, so that they aren't tilting and stuff as much. Ring, everybody knows Ring. It's a camera system and security system I pay for. Apple Music, everybody knows that. That's what I use. Prime membership. Nelnet, which is my wife's student loan. I have a student loan as well, which did not come out this month. Actually, next month will be the first month I have to start paying on that again. Spectrum, which is our internet bill. And then my truck, I drive a Chevy Colorado. I have to pay the registration on it this month, so I'll be paying that in the next couple of days here. So this is just bills that are coming out for this month, and then I have planned spending as well. So you can see groceries. I plan $1,000 a month. We've already gone over that, 1105. Groceries is one of those ones I don't stress on as much. I grew up dirt poor and didn't have groceries hardly ever. We didn't have money for things that I wanted a lot. So, it's nice being able to go into a grocery store and not have to look at price tags or count what's in the cart like we had to do when I was younger. I want my daughter to eat healthy. I eat healthy. My wife eats mostly healthy. So I want us to pay more for better food, and I'm okay with that. So grocery bill is almost always exceeding by a little bit. And, we're eventually going to have another kid here in the next year or two. So this is going to go up even more. This is for my daughter. Her name is Claire. I budget like $500 aside just for things that she needs. Shoes, clothes, diapers, wipes, whatever it is that she needs. I budget like $500 a month for her. You can see we're a little bit under that, which is good. Gas, I budget $400 a month. We're almost there. Household, I budget $350 a month. This is stuff like toilet paper, paper towels, dish soap, trash bags, that kind of stuff all goes into here. Restaurants, this is eating out. We usually don't eat out too much. You can see we're a little bit over, but not too bad. And then Piper is my dog's name. Usually we only need about $150 a month, but she had a couple of vet visits this month and had to get some tests run and things like that. So had to pay for that there. Gifts, we usually budget about $150 a month for just gifts. We're a little bit over that. One of those categories, again, I like giving, so I'm happy to be over on gifts if I'm going to be over on anything. Personal care, this is things like haircuts. My wife likes to get her nails done, things like that. We budget about $80 a month for that. And then medical, dental, vision, this is copays and things like that for doctor's visits, about $75 a month. And then I play pool competitively. So you can see down here, my face might be covering this, but this is spent 30, or I have $30 left to spend. I've spent 20 of about 50. It costs $10 a night in the league that I play in. So that's some of the expenses for June. I wanted to kind of show a transparent view of how expensive it is just to live out here. A lot of these things, I could cut out, but the bulk of it's like my mortgage. I can't do anything about that. Groceries are going to be just up there, especially with where I live. And we don't go too crazy, honestly. I mean, we go to Costco, we save a lot of money there, and we shop at Trader Joe's. And we don't get like a lot of unnecessaries. We eat pretty healthy, so I pay more for like ground beef. I get like low fat ground beef and things like that. So it just adds up. But wanted to show that to you guys. Last but not least, the options positions. Like I mentioned, I've got none open right now. They expired worthless. But if we look at the calendar for June, I've made 266.31 for the month of June. And you can see here all of the trades that I've made starting from June 5th. These are the last two here that expired worthless. And you might be looking at this and saying, wow, it's down quite a bit, 11, 12, 11, 266. And the reason why is because I was assigned on some positions and I just can't get as much premium. I don't want to go aggressive. I'm selling at like the 10 delta because I'm under my cost basis. So I'm just trying to generate anything while I sit on these positions until they come back to closer to my net stock cost. And at that point, I might decide to take a small loss to get out of them and start selling puts again. But for now, it's low, but the option selling is not a necessity. I consider it kind of an add-on to the dividends and things like that. So anything that I can generate for an options income is just kind of icing on the cake for me. I think it will increase over time, and it should increase over time, because if I'm consistently selling calls and puts at about 10% of the gross account value, the amount I'm selling is going to go up, obviously, because the gross account value continues to go up. So these numbers will increase over time. So not worried about that. Last but not least, thanks guys for sticking with me through this whole video. A lot to cover, a lot of moves this week, a lot of changes. But if you guys want to use any of these tools, so either the paycheck to portfolio system, the Snowball analytics, the options income platform, or anything, I post all of my referral links. If you guys choose to use any of these things, I will get a kickback on them, and I get a recurring revenue, and all of that revenue goes into Velocity Impact Fund. But I put it into my description of all my videos, and I will pin all of it into the comments of my videos. So you can see, you can track my portfolio. You can join my Discord community, which is free. We have like 216 members right now. Not super active, but we're there to answer questions and things like that. YouTube memberships, if you guys want to subscribe to me and help grow the channel and help grow the Velocity Impact Fund, I do have a $3 and $5 membership you guys can join on. And then Snowball, if you want to use my link, I get a kickback. Options income, I get a kickback. And if you guys want to use paycheck to portfolios tools, I will post that. I just started using it this week, but I will post that in my description and comments going forward. Thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the support, and I'll talk to you guys on the next video. I will be doing the monthly recap for June in the middle of next week, since the 1st is on Wednesday, so I'll have that video coming out soon. And I'll talk to a lot of you guys in the Discord channel as well. Thanks so much.